YouTube. Today we're going to compare a couple heavyweights when it comes to the striker fired polymer pistol world. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare a Glock 19 to a Sig Sauer P320. And before we get started, I'm going to let you know that neither one of these pistols have anything in them. The magazines are empty and we are clear to make this video. I've never shown a loaded gun on here and I'm not going to start today. So what we have here is on top we have a Glock 19. This is a Generation 5 Glock 19, and down here on the bottom we have what they call the X-Carry P320. Now the reason I chose these two are they are very similar in size, capacity, and all that kind of stuff. Now we're going to ignore this optic on top of here. This one has an optic on it. We're not talking about adding on accessories. All I'm going to do is compare the actual guns themselves, the features of them. Now what we have here, this is a Generation 5 Glock 19. I'll show you some close-ups here. It says Gen 5 Glock 19. Now the first thing that people are going to say is that doesn't have any front slide serrations, and they are right. This is one of the first ones. I've had this quite a long time and does not have the front serrations before they started doing that. But as far as I know, the changes that Glock made in the Generation 5 versus the previous generation was they rounded off the front of the slide here, made it like a little bit less snag proof or whatever you want to call it. They took away the finger grooves here, so it's got no finger grooves on it. It's got a single pin setup for the trigger group on it. It's got a larger magazine release button here, which helps out a lot, and it's got ambidextrous slide stops. So the slide stops here and it's on the other side. To my knowledge, there is no other difference. I think Glocks are pretty much all Glocks. So this is probably the most popular handgun in the world. Anybody that's into firearms has either fired one of these or owned one of these or still does own one of these. I don't know of many people who hasn't fired a Glock 19 or owns a Glock 19. Very popular gun, probably the most popular one in the entire world. Now, let's talk about this gun for a little minute. Glock is the innovator of the striker-fired pistol. They get full credit towards that. They're the most copied design in the world to date. Nobody else has been copied more than Glock, and a lot of their patents have run out with striker-fired Gen 3s, I believe, and they're knocking those off. I think PSA makes them, Shadow Systems, a bunch of those companies that actually make the same exact gun, and they've tried to improve on them a little bit. Now, a lot of people think that I go off on Glocks a lot, and I don't. I really like them a lot. I've owned quite a few of them, but and this one here happens to be mine. But my main problem with the Glock pistols are they're always a little bit, they're like a couple steps behind the other people. Now, in today's world with these striker-fired pistols, you got to keep up, and whatever's hot, you got to do it. And it seems like Glock, like for instance, this Generation 5, when they launch this off, there's no front slide serrations on them. They do have that now, but other pistol manufacturers have been doing that for years. The texturing's still the same old texturing. I think they've had this for a couple generations now, and it's nothing to write home about, but it is serviceable. The finger grooves, there's a whole group of wingnuts that get on the internet talking about whether Glock should have finger grooves or not. I personally don't care. It feels pretty good to me without finger grooves, but if it had them, I have a couple of them that do have finger grooves. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Striker-fired pistol. This one's equipped with better sights because Glock comes with crappy sights from the factory. They're plastic sights, and these are metal sights on them. These happen to be tritium night sights on them, but that doesn't matter to me at all. But overall, the functionality of the Glock, they live up to their name of the Glock perfection. They are pretty much 99% reliable. So every time you pull the trigger, this thing's going to go boom as long as there's ammunition in them. Very good gun. Now, my problem with the Glock pistol is this trigger. And when you pull this trigger, you can see all the sponginess, and this one is a really good Glock trigger, believe it or not, folks. And when you pull this trigger, it just feels real spongy until it kind of gets to its wall, a little bit of creep, and it goes off. Now, the reset on this thing is pretty tactile, and it's pretty audible. You can hear it, but pretty good reset on it. But Glock triggers, to me, they just never have been very good, and I don't know why they haven't came up with some kind of improvement with them, but they've never been good. The other weird thing about Glocks are their grip angle. People that are in the firearms that owns as many or has handled as many firearms as I have will tell you that this is a weird grip angle to this gun. And when normal people, especially people with large hands, grab these, they tend to point down. Now, you can adjust that with your shooting. It's something you can get used to. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just a very odd grip angle on a Glock. And it's just the shape of them. It is what it is. Glock is Glock, and they've been the same for going on 40 years now. They haven't changed, and they sell their guns on their reliability and the aftermarket support that people have on them. Very good guns, but I'm going to compare it to something very comparable, and this is this Sig Sauer. Now, back in 2017, Glock and Sig Sauer got into a little bit of a competition. I mean, there was others involved, but these two were the heavyweights, and the military was looking for a replacement for the Beretta. And Sig Sauer introduced this as their submission, and Glock introduced their version. They wanted a modular pistol. Well, this pistol here ended up beating Glock out, and I'm going to try and show you why I believe that it did. Well, first of all, they know how to follow directions. This is truly a modular pistol. So when you break this gun down, you can take this fire control group out of this gun and put it in a larger frame gun and virtually make the gun bigger. You cannot do that to the Glock. This is permanent. The trigger group is permanently mounted inside there, so that's kind of a neat feature. Now, as far as this is a factory Sig grip module on it, and the texturing is a lot better. It does have one finger groove right here, but it is very comfortable in your hands. The ergonomics on this gun is far past what Glocks feel like in your hand. This thing just feels so comfortable in your hands. Now, if you look at this has the front serrations on them, and they're a little bit more aggressive than anything Glock has, and that really doesn't make a difference to me whether they have front serrations or not. I'm not a press checker. People that walk up there and press check their guns, I know whether my gun's loaded or not, and all you have to do is look at the extractor here, and you can tell. Now, as far as ambidextrous stuff, this one's got ambidextrous, the same as the Glock, but where this thing really shines here is the trigger. This thing does not feel spongy at all. There's that much take up, this goes off, and the reset on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. This thing has a far superior trigger than any Glock will ever have. I don't care what you do to it. Now, there's a bunch of aftermarket Glock triggers that you can put in and stuff. I mean, you really have a Glock when you're done with that. This is how this gun came. It's that good. Now, as far as comparing the magazine capacity, they're both going to be 15-round magazines. Glock's going to have the same polymer magazines they've always had. Sig Sauers have metal ones. Now, I'm not going to go off on Glock's double-stack magazines because I think they're pretty much the benchmark of magazines that work. But Sig Sauer seems to rework just equally as well. Now, when you're talking about accuracy, I would say that they're both about the same. They both shoot about the same. Accuracy is subjective to the person using the tool, and you can take either one of these guns and be very proficient with it in whatever task that you put it towards. But as far as like mechanics and stuff, if you pick this gun up, it feels like it's actually made better than a Glock. And I don't know how to explain that, but it just feels like it's put together better. But I know that Glocks are put together very well because, I mean, they just tend to always work. But if you look at them side by side, they're about the same size. Take the optic out of the equation. They're about the same thickness. I think the Sig Sauer, this particular Sig Sauer, has got a little bit shorter barrel on it than this Glock 19, but they're about the same thickness. They hold the same exact capacity, which is 15 and 1 in the chamber. So very comparable guns. But the military chose to go with the Sig Sauer. Usually Sig Sauers are going to cost you a little bit less, depending on how you get them outfitted out and all that. And by the way, folks, you can get these Glock MOSs now that have the little plates on top if you're a pistol optic person. This one just happens to have an optic on him. But the Glocks tend to cost a couple dollars more when you buy a comparable gun to the Sig Sauer. And I think that's a big reason why the military probably went with that. They probably got a little bit better price break on them. Now, another thing you can look at is this Picatinny rail. That's on the front of the Sig Sauer. Glock has a rail, but it's their proprietary ones that they've used for years. And the majority of the stuff goes on these, but it's noteworthy that a Picatinny rail is probably a little bit more universal than the one that Glock uses. The trigger guard has a lot more room in it inside of the Sig Sauer, as you can see. So if you were to wear gloves or something, it would be a lot less issue than this Glock. There's not quite as much room inside here. I don't see that as an issue, but I think it's noteworthy of saying it. But basically, you got two striker-fired guns that are basically the same size. They're probably in the same price range. The same type of people buy them, and everybody that likes these will tell you that these are not good, and everybody that loves these will tell you that these aren't as good. Folks, I'm here to tell you I like them both. I really do. I think this one's got a better trigger and better ergonomics. This is the most reliable pistol that's ever been made, so I mean it's hard to argue against a Glock pistol on anything. And if it wasn't for this pistol, this one wouldn't even exist, because Glock is the first person to come out with striker fire design, polymer frame striker fire designs. But anyway, folks, I want to show you a side-by-side of a Glock 19 Gen 5 versus a Sig P320 X Carry. Let me know which one you prefer, or if you like them both like I do. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any questions on either one of these, pretty certain I have videos on each one of them that goes a little bit more into depth. Thank you very much for watching my video today, and you folks have a great day.